Everybody do the Falcon! What's up, dogs? It's Cameron with Venus Theory, and in this video we are back with UVI Falcon, the greatest thing ever made in the history of mankind outside of cheese curds. So in this video I wanted to show you guys the Pluck oscillator, which is one of my favorite things to use in Falcon for designing kind of texture-y thingies. So let's dive right into it and get started. Alright guys, so in this video I wanted to do another Falcon tutorial focusing in on the Pluck oscillator. This is a really interesting one, and I found something kind of cool a couple nights ago when I was just kind of experimenting and making some new kind of like pads and sound beds to use for songs or sample packs or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this guy in, and the thing that occurred to me is I was looking at the Pluck oscillator and noticed it said no sample, drag and drop a sample here. You know, reading the words is kind of important, because then it occurred to me, oh, I could drag a sample there. So what I wanted to experiment with, so how the sample works here is you get a sample and synth and noise, and this is physical modeling, and it uses the sample to kind of generate the sound. So you'll see here we get a pretty distinctive transient decay and release. And it occurred to me, what if you had something that was kind of clicky, like something like noise? So if we look at these here, like this guy, some kind of like vinyl noise. If I drag this in, I found that it actually creates this kind of bouncing on a string sound. So then I thought about it and I was like, well, let's get rid of the synth oscillator and turn up the gain. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. So the cool thing you can do is load up a couple of different Pluck oscillators. So I'm going to grab one more here. And in the second one, we'll grab another, let's grab some crackle. So probably this one would be a good one. And then we can grab one more that's a bit more transient-y. So maybe something like that one. We're going to turn the synth all the way down. And then we can unlink these oscillators and blend them together. It should be okay, but this one will probably need to turn down a little. So maybe up just a touch. Cool, so now we get this. So now what we can do is set the strings of each of these to 2. And then we can go ahead and hit the stereo switch. This will create a nice wide stereo sound. And I was like, wow, that sounds pretty neat. So what I figured from here was to use the amplitude envelope just to create a really long attack. And you'll hear this has so much kind of character and texture to it, which really lends itself well to creating big kind of pad noises. So we could grab like a Thorus, a Spark Verb. We'll do dual delay. These are like my favorite things in Falcon. We'll do Magic Box is always good. Let's grab some kind of big abstract-y reverb. Maybe drop the mix here a bit, and then maybe just give it a little bit of drive. We'll do that right before the delay. Something about like so. And then we could add a filter. So let's do an analog filter before the reverb. And we'll add a modulation to the mod wheel. And we'll go ahead and drop that down a bit, something like there. And you'll hear this creates really super, super cool kind of big texture-y pad sounds. So it's a really, really cool way to make those kind of big sound beds. And then, you know, from here you could also maybe add in some other stuff. Perhaps we could do some kind of wavetable-y thing. Let's grab what could be interesting here. Let's try drunk wave, sure. And then we could tie this to the mod wheel as well. So we'll tie this to modulation wheel. And we'll make it stereo, little spread, detune it quite a bit, and then just turn this down. And we should get something a little bit more interesting. And as we open up the filter, it's going to scroll through the wave as well, which should be really, really cool. And we could maybe tie the gain of this to one of my faders on my controller. Really, really excellent way to create some super, super cool sounds using noise and the Pluck oscillator. And that's it for this video, guys, so thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon.